everyone. Welcome to our weekly UFC show with Bookmakers Review. I'm your host, Lee Martin. This upcoming weekend, we have another fun card in UFC Vegas 45, Derrick Lewis versus Chris Daukaus on Saturday, December 18th at the UFC Apex. Like always, we're going to break down the fights on the main card and also share with you our top prelim pick. Now, just briefly, last week we had UFC 269 with 2 title belts on the line, and let me say, oh my goodness, I think that was the greatest card of the year. We had 2 upsets in the title bouts, with the biggest upset being Juliana Pena submitting Amanda Nunes, becoming the new UFC Women's Bantamweight champion. I think that's amazing. And then Charles Oliveira defended his belt against Dustin Poirier. If you do want to get a recap of how those fights went, definitely check out our written UFC content at Bookmakers Review. Now, before we do get the show moving, please tap those like and subscribe buttons so you never miss a show. Now, this week, we do have 5 cards on the main cards, 5 fights on the main card. So let's not waste much time and just jump into our breakdowns. First up on the main card, we have lightweight Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Gamrot. At BetOnline, Ferreira is plus 156 and Gamrot is minus 181. So I will start with the dog first. Ferreira is coming off of 2 straight losses. The first was against Beneil Dariush by split decision from back in February this year, and then Gregor Gillespie by TKO from back in May. Ferreira has skills both on the ground and standing, and even though he does have very strong submission skills, he does like to hang around on the feet to let his hand fly, even though he does not have a lot of knockout power. Also, in his last 2 losses, he was taken down 9 times, so let's keep that in mind. Now, Mateusz Gamrot. This will be his 4th UFC bout this weekend. He has 1 loss overall by split decision, and it was his UFC debut. His 2 other UFC bouts were finished inside the distance. He defeated Scott Holtman by KO in the 2nd round and Jeremy Stephens by submission in the 1st. So, the one thing that Gamrot has that Ferreira lacks is that knockout power. And also, his chin has been cracked 2 times throughout his professional career. Again, one being his last and most recent bout, which was against Gregor Gillespie. Not only does he have that knockout power, but he's also incredibly skilled on the ground too. So overall, I believe Gamrot has the edge when it comes to his accuracy and power. I personally will not be betting this fight. But if you are interested, Gamrot is minus 181 at BetOnline. But if you do want to side with the dog, again, Ferreira is plus 156 at BetOnline. Remember, do all of your odd shopping at Bookmakers Review so you have all of the best odds. But let's move on to our next bout. We have Bantamweight Raphael Assuncao versus Ricky Simón. At BetOnline, Assuncao is plus 235 and Simón is minus 275. So let's start again with the dog. Raphael Assuncao is coming off of 3 straight losses to Marlon Moraes, Corey Sandhagen, and Cody Garbrandt. He's definitely a well-rounded fighter that's able to mix it up well, but he usually does not take much control. He usually plays counter, and he also likes to use his kicks to keep him at range. He is dangerous once he does enter the pocket, but it's risky since his chin is crackable. Meanwhile, Simón is the complete opposite in my eyes. He likes to take control of the octagon, and he is very aggressive. He does like to bring the fight to the ground where he excels. He rarely chooses to stand and strike because striking is not his sharpest not his strongest trait, but his striking defense needs a lot of work too. So the way I see this one playing out, Ricky Simón is going to do all he can to bring the fight to the ground, and Assuncao will most likely let him. So this could be a back and forth scramble until the scorecards leaning Simón. Again, at BetOnline, Assuncao is plus 235 and Simón is minus 275. Again, I do like Simón in this one, but I'm not going to lay the minus 275 on him. I'm just going to enjoy this one. But let's move on to the next fight, and I actually really love this fight. We have women's strawweight, Amanda Lemos versus Angela Hill. At BetOnline, Hill is plus 260 and Lemos is minus 335. Now, I was on the Hill train for literally the longest time, but recently she has been more of the downside, unfortunately. She is 1-3 in her last 4, with those losses coming by decision. She does hold a Muay Thai style fight and is overall an aggressive fighter that uses her feints well, but her flaw tends to be her fight IQ. So what she needs to do is find the right opening, but sometimes in doing so, she'll just throw some punches and it won't really land anywhere. Meanwhile, Lemos, she's had a pretty successful UFC career this far, and she is coming off of an impressive TKO loss against Montserrat Ruiz. Her takedown defense has been unbreakable up to this point, and she has a high output in her striking. So she also fights in a Muay Thai style like Hill, but the main difference with Lemos is probably her power in her her accuracy. She is able to find the right opening to finish an opponent, and I feel like that's going to be the key difference in this one. So as much as I love Angela Hill, I do believe Amanda Lemos has this one in the bag. However, when it comes to when the fight will finish, it's tricky to me. So Lemos is definitely able to finish the fight, but Hill also has a very touchy chin that's never been broken. So I'm going to have to give Hill the upper hand in this one and expect this one to finish at the scorecards. So I will grab Amanda Lemos. Now, she is very juiced again at minus 335. So we can turn to the MMA props. So I'm just going to look at the MMA props real quick. And Lemos 5 points is plus 115. So I like those odds much better. The value is definitely there for you. So I'm just going to check out Lemos inside the distance for fun, and I'm going to take that one. Or actually, I'm not taking her inside the distance. I'm going to take her at points. But looking at her inside the distance for fun, that is plus 165. So again, there is more value for there. But again, I'm going to take Lemos by points. That is plus 115 at BetOnline. Let's move on to the co-main now. And I think the co-main and main events for this card, beautiful. But before I get ahead of myself, we have welterweight Stephen One Boy Thompson versus Belal Muhammad at BetOnline. Thompson is minus 210 and Belal is plus 180. So again, I'm going to start with the dog in this one. Belal has been riding a hot streak since his loss against Jeff Neal in 2019, which was by unanimous decision. He is definitely a well-rounded fighter, and he's only been outstruck 4 times in his last 11 bouts. He often holds himself like how a boxer does, and he'll throw some heavy overhand strikes, but his strong point is not always standing. Meanwhile, Thompson, his background is karate, and it really stands out, and it also helps him stay light on his feet. His takedown defense is tough, and his opponents will need to be aware of his kicks and speed while attempting to bring him down, because that can set up a trap for them. I know Wonder Boy has not had perfect fights as of lately, but I feel like this is going to be a great bout for him to redeem himself. I don't want to bring down Belal at all because he definitely has the talent and skill, but I do believe Wonder Boy has the overall skill sets and fight IQ to outstrike Belal. Again, I like Thompson in this position for sure. He is minus 210 at BetOnline. So this is another case where I am going to go seek the MMA props. I do see this going to the scorecard. So looking at Thompson by points is minus 110, and I will definitely take that over the minus 210. So Thompson by points minus 110, but again, only seek the MMA props if you are confident in your pick. And remember to do all of your odd shopping at Bookmakers Review so you find all the best values for your best bets. But let's move on to the main event now. We have heavyweights Derrick Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. At BetOnline, Lewis is plus 119 and Daukaus is minus 139. Honestly, I was a little surprised that Derrick Lewis was the dog in this one, but it makes sense. He is coming off of a championship loss against Cyril Gane from back in August. And for me, this makes me like Lewis in this dog position. But before I get ahead of myself, besides his last bout against Cyril Gane, he had 4 straight wins with 2 knockouts. If you know the Derrick Lewis name, then you know of the Black Beast and his ridiculous knockout power. The man has 20 wins by TKO under his belt, and that is out of 25 total wins. So you can conclude from that Lewis does in fact love keeping the fight standing. Now we have Chris Daukaus. He is currently undefeated in the UFC with all 4 fights being finished inside the distance with his hands. He is just like Lewis, where he prefers to keep the fight standing, so I am expecting this to be a nice little fun brawl. But what worries me for Lewis is Daukaus' cardio. For a heavyweight, he's able to move around faster than most heavyweights, and this could be why Daukaus is favored over Lewis. However, I don't think this will need to be I don't think this fight will make it later into the rounds. Daukaus has not faced the level of competition Lewis has, and Lewis is definitely going to want to redeem himself after that loss to Gane. And I'll be honest and say that I am not going to put any money on this one because I still have slight doubt. If Lewis does approach this bout like how he did with Gane, then I think this is Daukaus' fight. However, if Lewis learned from his last bout with Gane and acts like in a more aggressive way, like how the old Lewis fought, then he might have this one secured inside the distance. So again, I'm not going to put any money on this one, but I will side with the dog value in Derrick Lewis. Again, he is plus 119 at BetOnline. If you are interested in Daukaus, he is minus 139 at BetOnline. So that was our entire main card. Let's jump on over to our top prelim pick. And to end the year, I really love this prelim card, and I know I say this basically every week, but I mean it with this one. I mean, we have Raphael Pennington versus Macy Chiasson, Charles Jourdain versus Andre Ewell, Sijara Eubanks versus Melissa Gatto. That is going to be a good one. I like Sijara Eubanks in that one. Overall, this is going to be a great card. So for my top prelim pick, I would definitely go with Dustin Stoltzfus versus Gerald Meerschaert. I think Meerschaert has this win in the bag. Dustin is 0-2 in the UFC, and these were against opponents not at GM3's level. So Dustin's last loss was by submission RNC against Rodolfo Ferreira. That alone makes me question his grappling skills. GM3 has near flawless submission skills, and I can see him getting this one inside the distance, actually. But his odds, Meerschaert is juiced at minus 230 at some of your top sports books. So let's take a look at the MMA props. If I look up Gerald Meerschaert, he is priced inside the distance at minus 120. So that is much better than the minus 230. So I will grab that instead of his juiced odds. So again, I like Gerald Meerschaert to win inside the distance minus 120. And that's our show. And sadly, our last UFC show of the year. But don't worry, we will be back for next year. We'll be back for UFC Vegas 46 Cater versus Chikadze on January 15th. So our show will be on that January 12th. Mark your calendars. Set a reminder, that way you don't miss us. And if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely hit us up on Twitter. You can follow myself at Lee Martin Sports. And yes, Dave was unfortunate enough to not be able to join us today. So definitely show him some love. I can't talk today, too much coffee. Definitely show Dave some love on Twitter at @dmanion_. He's going to be posting his precise picks, all of his articles, literally everything you can find regarding his UFC content. So again, Twitter at @dmanion_. And then while you're at it, just give BMR a follow at BMR Reviews. And to make sure you stay up to date with all of our UFC content, as well as all of our other shows with BMR, be sure to tap those like and subscribe buttons. Now, I wish you all the best of luck on all of your wagers, and we'll see you around.